So hey there everybody, hope you're doing well. I just wanted to put out a little update video about my little trip back to the UK. First time in 2.5 years, and yes, it's been and gone. It was really wonderful. I had a great time. It was wonderful to catch up with my parents and my brothers and some of my friends whilst I was there, and yes, also going to my brother's wedding over in Spain was just wonderful. So yeah, I had a fantastic time. It allowed me to reflect a little bit on the 2.5 years I've been in Japan. Amazingly, yes, that's how long I've been here. Obviously, it's been a little bit difficult to get back to the UK before now because of the coronavirus pandemic. But thankfully, as things have subsided, it's become a bit more predictable as to what Japan's rules are for re-entry, and to guarantee within some reason that I was going to be able to get back into the country. And of course, all of it went fine. But yeah, I had a great time. I was able to pick myself up a skateboard in the UK, and I took that over to Spain with me and skated quite a bit there. Had a really rad time. It was good fun. I actually bought a cruiser shaped board, so this isn't actually the deck. This is a polar board that I bought once I returned to Japan, but the Indy trucks and the Richter Cloud wheels, those are the ones that I actually bought in the UK and brought them back with me to put on this wonderful new cruiser board, which hopefully I'm going to start using soon. But for the time being, I have just been skating on my trusty 8-inch all-timers deck, so made by the same board shop actually, BBS, but anyway, whatever, doesn't matter. So yeah, so I've been able to reflect a little bit on my time so far here in Japan, and certainly going back to the UK made me feel a bit more human again. That might seem like a strange thing to say, but apart from one really good friendship that I have here in Japan, a lot of my other relationships with people here are sort of either professionally based, or they're more like acquaintances, or we're kind of friends, but you know, it's not, you know, like we see each other every now and then kind of thing, and that's as far as it goes. Lovely people, don't get me wrong, but being able to be a little bit more, I don't know, a bit more sincere and a bit more open and honest with people made a big difference, and made me realise that, yeah, I am connected to something that is a bit deeper than just being a payroll number or a replaceable foreigner. Not that I went to the UK feeling bad about things in Japan, but it just made me feel a bit more well-rounded coming back, that, yeah, I do have these people behind me, and I'm incredibly grateful for it. And the level of sincerity that the conversations that I had was wonderful, and it meant the world to me to hear my parents saying to me when you know, I said goodbye at Heathrow Airport in August, to hear them saying that they're actually proud of what I'm doing here. So yeah, it made a big difference. You know, a lot of my conversations have been professionally based here in Japan, and whilst I you know, really enjoy working with my teachers, and some of those teachers I have a closer working relationship than others, there's a certain amount of professional courtesy in those conversations that just runs not as deep as other things do in life. So, and when you combine that with most of my other conversation has been sort of online, like through a screen kind of thing, it makes you feel a bit disconnected with the world, and you know, it makes you feel like, you know, like, what are my real feelings kind of thing. So it was great to actually sort of you know, bond with people on a deeper level again. So that was fantastic, and I had a good time reading some manga. I've been really getting into Yotsubato, so I'm now up to the 5th volume, which I picked up yesterday, but I'll be talking about that in a future video. So yes, my Japanese practice is going pretty well. The other thing that it allowed me to reflect upon was, with the job and so forth, was the fact that I now have a pretty good work-life balance. You know, my hours are set, and when I finish, that's it. You know, I might get an email outside of hours or the odd occasional phone call, but there's no obligation really for me to answer, unless of course it's an urgent email, like if there is an earthquake and they want to check in to make sure that we're okay. Now that's a good reason to email somebody out of hours as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, it certainly made me think that, yes, I've done the right thing. You know, I'm not saying that I'm going to be in Japan forever. Honestly, don't know. I don't necessarily know when I'm going to leave Japan either, by that token. I'm just enjoying each day as it comes, to be honest with you. You know, and I feel that, you know, whilst I may have niggles from time to time about my placements, or, you know, whatever happened at school that day, when I look at it from the broader picture, I'm doing something much more worthwhile as far as I'm concerned to me, than what I was doing before, which basically seemed to revolve around managing the expectations of passive-aggressive middle management and executives in an Outlook inbox, over stuff that really doesn't matter a great deal to me at all. So I feel that by working with the youngsters and so forth, yes, unfortunately the case is that the vast majority of them won't become proficient in English. But on the other hand, I'm working with people, and if I give those kids a bit of fun, a little bit of something out the ordinary each day kind of thing, then, well, that seems pretty good to me. And the other thing is that, as I say, I have time to do the things that I just didn't have the time to do properly before, like my artwork and so forth. Before I came to Japan, I said that one of the things that had affected me greatly, and one of the reasons that I decided to come out to Japan and work, was the fact that there was very little that I could hold in my hands physically of mine that I could say I did that, because it all existed in the digital realm where it wasn't personal to me. Like when I took wedding photographs, yes, I could have printed them off, but there would have been pictures of other people and not really intrinsic to myself. So I now have time to do my artwork here in Japan, and I begun to build up a portfolio of artwork and so forth that, yes, predominantly I hand draw and so forth. I don't do much in the way of digital artwork and so forth. And you can check out some of this artwork on Instagram. Go and follow me on there. There's not a ton of stuff. It's not all to do with my manga. Some of it is, other characters and so forth, as you might be seeing. But it allows me to sort of focus on, sort of creating stuff that's important to me and so forth. And, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter really whether, like other people say, it doesn't have much value or it doesn't generate much response on social media or whatever it is. Because if I'm doing it for me, then it really doesn't matter what anybody else thinks in a way. And that applies to the manga as well with Future Saviours, that, the readership for that isn't really growing. If anything, I think it's probably shrunk. And of course, obviously, by the end of it, I hope that I have found a publisher and that maybe I have been able to increase the readership. But if those two things don't happen, when I finish it, at least I'll be able to hold something in my hands that says, well, I did something that mattered to me. I equivocated some messages and values that were important to me, and nobody can take that away from you. And I'd much rather basically finish up my time here on life having done artwork like this, which I was just showing you, or what you might see on Instagram, and having done my manga and maybe other manga projects in the future and so forth, than having spent all the hours of the week, earning, decent money, but ultimately being a little bit poorer within myself, shall we say. So yeah, it'd be wonderful if I did manage to grow the readership of Future Saviours in time, but give me another year or so. Let's see where we are then with it. Obviously, whilst Japan is fantastic for, buying video games and all this kind of stuff, there are actually some that you just can't get over here. And one of the things that surprised me was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater for the Game Boy Advance. It wasn't released over here, so I was able to pick up THPS 2 for the Game Boy Advance, and a few Game Boy games actually, Parasol Stars, Skate or Die, Bad and Rad, and what was the other one? Or maybe that was the free games, maybe it was just free games that I picked up. So yeah, it was awesome to actually pick up some games that I wanted to bring back for me to play, and I've been really enjoying those. Yeah, just going over to Spain with my skateboard was just so rad. They had a wonderful park that was about 5-7 minutes or so a skate away from the hotel. It's really well designed. It looked quite new as well, maybe only a year or two old. Had some really good banks and that to really practice my carving and so forth. There was a bowl there, which was good fun, although my bowl skating skills is still very much at the beginning. I'm only beginning to get the hang of like pumping and so forth on a mini ramp. So that's basically where you can maintain your momentum going backwards and forwards without slowing down. So, and of course, obviously I fell over from time to time, but
Whoa.
largely, I feel that I was able to just have such the best time skating, as well as enjoying my brother's wedding as well. But yeah, that was just so awesome. Like I feel like a lot of my skills are coming off on now. I'm able to ride off ledges that maybe are like a foot or a foot and a half high. I've been able to practice dropping in onto sort of vertical, so I can now drop in on sort of maybe a good sort of 2 feet of vertical and so forth. You know, I can ride in a pretty high sort of banked ramps and so forth. So, you know, it's all going pretty well, really. And finally, I've started landing shove-its. Whilst rolling as well, actually, as recently as yesterday, you know, with, okay, not going particularly fast, but I'm now beginning to be able to land shove-its and continue rolling. So, you know, like, I'm never going to be, you know, sort of like a mad ripper when it comes to skating, but, oh man, just so good to be able to have that time on the board and just think, yeah, you know, like, doing my current job in Japan is what allows me to do this. This morning I'm just off for a little bit of an early morning skate, and I've just been looking at the forecast, and it reckons today is going to be around about 85 to 90% humidity, which I guess if I was to roughly translate that into what you might experience in the UK, it would be about the equivalent of perhaps going on Twitter and finding people from the UK incessantly moaning about how hot it is. If I was doing my old job, I would just be working all these hours, and yeah, I'd be a lot better off. I'd own a lot more stuff and all that kind of stuff, but really stuff doesn't matter, you know, as far as I'm concerned. As long as my futon is comfy, I've got food in the fridge, I can skate, I can go running, I can draw, you know, like, and my, you know, like I can buy Choco Monaco ice cream. You know, life is good as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, I've been able to reflect on my 2.5 years here in Japan. You know, yeah, I've started learning Japanese. I can actually begin to read some basic manga, and yeah, I don't understand what every single word means, but I can still enjoy the overall story. You know, like, I've come a long way. You know, I've come from basically only knowing konnichiwa, arigato gozaimasu, and sumimasen, or that was pretty much it, to being able to reasonably be able to sort of you know, speak, you know, some degree of Japanese with people and so forth, and you know, that's really good, you know, and you know, hopefully my Japanese continues to progress, hopefully my skating continues to progress, hopefully my drawing skills continue to progress, and I continue to get enjoyment out of it, and yeah, I have time to play video games as well. So yeah, I look forward to going back to the UK at some point in the future. It was just really wonderful to catch up with family and friends, and hopefully the next time I might be able to sort of see a few more friends. It's just difficult when I don't have a car. I've got a huge amount of ideas that have burst out of this, you know, 4 or 5 weeks or so that I had away from my daily life here in Japan, that I've been able to look at it through fresh eyes. But anyway, I just want to say a massive thank you as always for watching, and you know, thank you for everything, everybody. It's really awesome. Anyway, I guess it's all for me to mess up and not be able to say properly is see you soon. Peace. Don't you love that?